Top of the morning to ya! I'm the host of the year candidate, Krista Ott, and welcome to the St. Patty's Day episode. Now I know I'm not wearing green, but that's legitimately impossible for me to do. We would be reenacting the Invisible Man episode if I were to celebrate properly. Basically, all I'm saying is, please don't pinch too hard. That's not fun. We will, however, properly celebrate during the Justice League games when we take on the Green Lantern. But for now, let's crawl down to our local watering hole and kick it to the news. Things are almost kind of going back to normal. Theaters are reopening as we speak, with Los Angeles cinemas being allowed to reopen on March 19th, just in time for the big monsters to punch each other. Now, with theaters reopening, that means we get to talk about box office openings. Yay! And the big rivalry last week was Tom and Jerry versus Raya. And Raya kind of whooped Tom and Jerry's ass. It wasn't even close to a contest, which obviously can be attributed to 1, Raya being a much better movie, and 2, Tom and Jerry being free on HBO. Even if you tried to watch Tom and Jerry on HBO, though you might have received an unexpected result, as some users report that rather than a cartoon cat and mouse, a glitch resulted in them instead seeing the first hour and a half of Justice League. More on that next week though. Now it's time to see what these little leprechauns are up to. Take it away, guys.
Hello and welcome back to B Rated, the show that ignores all hidden meanings and overly criticizes any B movie we can get our hands on. As usual, I'm your host Paige, and I like pizza. Okay, so I'm running out of ideas on how to introduce myself, but it can't hurt to go back to basics. I mean, who doesn't like pizza?
Alright, whoever just scoffed at the screen and said that they don't like pizza can come over here and kiss my animated... That's fine, I totally did knock the chair over.
Moving on to this week's trash can of torture is the Asylum's Transmorphers. You know, I'm starting to realize why they named their production company The Asylum. Because boy, these movies are driving me crazy. Driven underground by alien robots, humanity's last hope for survival rests in a ragtag group of humans with a plan to destroy this mechanical horde once and for all. It's literally just Transformers, but if they were all Decepticons. Viewers on Amazon Prime gave this movie a 3.3 out of 5 stars, but let me be clear, this movie is not a 3. Depending on how easily entertained you are, this is either a 1 or a 5. Transmorphers was a disaster and a half, and I, the easily entertained being that I am, can't tell whether this movie was good or bad, and that terrifies me. This movie had so many problems that I'm not even sure where to start. I mean, an alien race of killer robots coming to destroy the human race? Like we haven't seen that a dozen times before. This movie takes place in 2014. But Paige, this doesn't look like 2014. No, duh. That's because the movie was made way back in 2007, a time when cell phones looked like this and you had to press the number however many times to get the letter you wanted. Do you really think that the people who thought that this barbaric way of texting was efficient also thought that we would be here in 2014?
Let it go!
John Cena!
But getting back on track, this movie was bad even for 2007. The quality of production was some of the worst I've ever seen. I mean, this shaky camera made me nauseous more than a few times. Look what happened when I put a warp stabilizer on it. Not to mention how dark this movie was. I'm talking DC levels of dark here, where I could barely see what was happening. The only time I could see was when the lightning flashed, and even that was so abrupt that they really needed to include an epileptic warning beforehand. But they didn't. But the two best parts about this movie were definitely the acting and the sound effects.
Everywhere. It's all around us.
Sir!
We have a situation here.
What is it?
One of the team is severely convulsing. He's hemorrhaging from his nose.
Pull them, get them out of there.
Okay, even I'll admit that calling this acting is way too generous for what it actually is. Overall, this movie was garbage in every aspect. The story was so predictable that it got to the point that I stopped paying attention to the plot altogether and just watched it for the crappy production value. Although I gotta say that watching this train wreck was still entertaining enough. So when should you watch this movie? Let's just call it a cautionary tale of what not to do when you want to make a killer robot movie. And now it's time to spin the wheel of stupid cinema. Tune in next week when we watch Jurassic School. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back to a special episode of Sideburns, the roasting of KNWT. Now initially I was gonna have Emma's sister on this show, but since I don't have any money, I can't afford that kind of talent, so I got the next best thing, the great value version. I got Emma.
Fun fact, I am not as good as my sister.
She's very true. She's also, to start it off, let's go with Humor Hangout, you know, the comedy pack. Whereas,
The one where they just completely ripped off a show that already exists, Billy on the Street. At least Billy on the Street had a professional cameraman.
let's go next up. Let's go Bearcat update.
Can we talk about how short John Walker is for a second?
Yeah, dude's a midget. I'll agree.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember they tried to give him a critique, and the critique was be taller.
It's like the dude had never heard of an apple box before. I mean, dude, we have small, medium, and large, and there's even extra large if you stack two on top of each other. You can gain a solid 2 feet to your height.
Indeed.
Stop being short. Did your mother forget to water you or some stuff? So next up, weekend sports kickoff. Literally just sports. So first, I want to talk about the graphics. The graphics look like you vomited in Microsoft Paint. 2009, not even the newer one.
How long have they been
2009.
using that graphic though? I swear it's been like 4 years.
Yeah, that's it. That's how long the show's been around, for 4 years, and they haven't changed. Madam GM and adulting. I have never seen a show that perfectly embodies BuzzFeed tips in my entire life. Who wants a 3-minute pack on how to put on a Band-Aid? Honestly though, if Kaylin made just an entire episode of Adulting on how to do your taxes, I might actually watch it for once, because let's go after Nerd Central next. You know what, our home show, Nerd Central. You know, let's do this now. Imagine having a host that never gets host of the year. So next up, cat play.
Should we say it? I want to say it, but
Say
I
it.
don't want to say it.
Say it.
But I don't want, but I want
Say
to. Where the game show is always the same.
Or Warzone. Craig. I don't want to watch your f***ing streams, Craig. You should check out my music video. Craig with the visuals. General manager time. So first off.
How does everybody know Craig Richards visuals? Because you won't shut up about it.
Or hey guys, welcome to the Craig Richard Visuals Experience.
Experience. That adds another level. Did we get them all?
I think we got them all. Did we get them all? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. We're not missing one. No. But anyways, this has been Sideburns. This has also been Emma from Nerd Games. You may see her in the future. You may never see her again. My money's on the ladder. So tune in next week for new roasts, a new host. Wait. New roast, new guest. Same me.
Stay burned.
We'll see you next time.
Ouch, that was harsh, Kyle. We're gonna take a break while I eat some Sad Girl ice cream. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Nerd Central. Let's finish strong with our remaining segments.
Hey guys, I'm your host Uhuman April Maltok, and on today's episode of Review Girl, we'll reminisce about the toxic queens Piper Chapman and Alex Voss. I don't know much about toxic relationships because thankfully I've never been in one, but as you all know, or might not know, Taylor Schilling plays the role of Piper Chapman, the character based on Piper Kerman, the author of the memoir Orange is the New Black, while Laura Prepon plays Alex Voss, who is based on the author's ex-girlfriend, Clary Walters. However, you must know that even though their relationship is based on actual real-life people, most of the things we see in the show didn't actually happen. So the couple meets at a bar when Alex is out drinking with friends and spots Piper. I won't go into much details about what happens after, cause that's PG stuff. But after a few hookups, Piper is ready to live a free life with her newly found mystery lover until boom, she's arrested for smuggling cash and rock candy. The results of her actions lands her in federal prison where she is forced to rebuild her relationship with Alex. Personally, if I ended up getting stuck in jail with an ex who was the reason I got there in the first place, I'd probably beat them up. Anyways, they both built friendships with other interesting characters while in jail. And for a while, everything seems to be okay until it's not. After the murder of, spoiler alert, Pusey Washington in season 4, riots spark in the prison and it leaves the woman out of control. In the midst of all the chaos and stuff happening, Piper thinks Alex is dead and can't seem to get over her lost love. Everything is back to normal when they find each other again and gets married an hour before Piper is checked out of jail. Once she's out, Piper is faced with deciding whether their peculiar long-distance relationship can actually last. So much happens on this show and it's hard to break it down into my 3-minute spot, but I recommend that you watch it if you haven't already. It talks about so many social issues, both the comfortable and uncomfortable ones, and believe me when I say those are always the best to watch. Well, that's it for today. Tune in next week when I review Diane and Mr. Peanut Butter from BoJack Horseman.
If you could go back 10 years ago or whatever and do it all again, would you?
I'm kidding. It didn't matter what choices we made. We would have ended up right here on this bed, sitting next to each other in prison.
Doomed to be together.
Exactly.
Hello, this is Drew, and welcome to Trash Flicks. This week, I'll be looking at the 2018 Netflix original movie, The After Party. The After Party is about an up-and-coming rapper named O who ruined his chances of getting signed after puking on Wiz Khalifa. His best friend and manager is trying to get him back on the spotlight, but he only has a couple of days to do it. The one good thing I can say with utmost confidence is at least it wasn't too boring. Watching this cringe fest of a film was almost somewhat entertaining. Not in a so bad it's good kind of way, but in a can't stop watching this train wreck kind of way. But while the movie kept my eyes on the screen, it didn't do it with anything good. Let me explain why. The movie's first main issue is the characters. The main character O is not too bad and is somewhat likable, but his manager, the love interest, and even characters that are not too important to the plot are very one-dimensional or extremely generic. There are no interesting traits to the characters themselves outside of annoying gimmicks, like the guy who's obsessed with his expensive clothing and posting it on Instagram. Another aspect of this movie that I wasn't a fan of was the constant use of young people humor. There would be times where they would do a cutaway to a quote-unquote funny image, and they would use the Vine sound effects that people used in 2015. One thing I hate most in a movie is when the writing feels like it was made by aliens who don't know how real people sound. There was frequent use of internet and text lingo in normal conversation as well, and it made the whole movie feel like some type of parody you'd find on Adult Swim. One final big issue I had was with the plot. The entire plot is following the same formula as movies like Project X or Superbad. The characters have one night to do some crazy thing that they would want to do before one of them leaves for some reason. I found myself making frequent comparison and connections to more popular films in this subgenre. While inspiration isn't a bad thing, I think that this movie goes a bit too far with the similarities. It just feels a bit unoriginal. After watching this movie, I found that the three main issues were the characters are bad, the humor and references are terrible, and the plot is extremely unoriginal. While there were issues, this movie did do the impossible and held my attention for most of its runtime, so I will commend it there. But overall, it's a really unpleasant experience. This is Drew, and thanks for watching Trash Flicks.
What is up, you guys, and welcome back to Nerd Games. I'm your host, Emma, and this week I'm playing one of my favorite games, the Guess That Childhood Theme Song Challenge. My guest and I will listen to the opening of a theme song and race to guess what childhood TV show it's from. To play this game with me, I had to invite the producer of the second best nerd show, Ben.
Hello.
Jesse.
God, I didn't watch these shows as much as I thought I did.
To support local restaurants, we've been to every city, including Little Rock.
And even Worcester.
I win.
And tonight, I'll be eating.
This is a Batman the Animated Series? I'm on the board.
Congrats, you got one I've never seen in my life.
Yeah.
Foster's home. Foster's home for imaginary children or whatever the title is.
Imaginary friends.
So close. That counts. Victorious.
God bless.
You're really bad at
I'm
this.
really horrible at this.
I thought this was going to be harder.
This is so the Clone Wars.
Good job.
Yay! Good God Almighty.
Are you ready? Kick on!
Ugh.
Aye, Captain.
That face that is usually covered by her phone has finally
Another
made
commercial.
Ads.
That
that doesn't count. No. I know that one.
I knew that one too.
No. That round doesn't count.
Yes, it does. I was holding it.
No.
There's 140.
What was that?
Shut up. Shut up. Daddy Blast.
He's a phantom. Oh, 3, 2, 1. Jimmy Neutron.
That's not a blast. You can't sing the rest of the song.
Yes, you can.
Big Time Rush.
I just finished binging this on Hulu.
Big Time Rush.
No. Oh my gosh, that's a good show though.
It's so good.
So good. All right, and the winner this week is me. Man, am I glad I don't have to get slimed again. Good luck. That wasn't intended. All right, and that's all for Nerd Games this week.
Oh my God.
Tune in next time for another great episode. Thanks, guys. Now we actually do something St. Patrick's Day related. Kinda. After the break. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Justice League Games! Kyle continues to sweep the competition when last week Drew proved his worth to the team as the Aquaman. Can Emma make a comeback, or am I going to have to hand over the keys to Kyle? Now, sadly, once again, Mannequin Syndrome has struck again and turned Kyle into one, so he will not be able to compete in the Green Lantern Challenge. Green Lantern's abilities are, as long as he never gives up his will, whatever he can imagine, he can create with his trusty power ring. Now let's figure out who he's competing.
Crazy seeing you here.
Because of Kyle's unfortunate disease at the moment, Paige will be filling in as Team Kyle's leader. All right, Team Emma, who have you selected for the Green Lantern Challenge?
We have selected none other than Drew.
Paige, who has Team Kyle selected?
We have selected, hold on.
Oh, it's a rematch! It's a rematch!
In back-to-back weeks!
Woo!
I feel like going into the Green Lantern Challenge, since our team's been doing so well, I feel that we will outperform as usual, and I'm sure nothing can go wrong.
For the Green Lantern Challenge, I will present a scenario, and then each of you will have 30 seconds to draw the appropriate item to solve said scenario. Well, there will be 6 rounds.
But you said that the Green Lantern is like creative and imaginative, and since Drew's so stoic all the time, we were like, he's probably not going to be as creative as all the amazing women we have on our team.
All right, so for the first one, a submarine has exploded underwater and the sailors are going to drown. How do you save them? And go. All right, Drew, reveal to the camera what you have drawn.
It might be hard to, it's flex glue. Even works underwater.
Are you gonna like seal back up the submarine with the flex seal?
Phil Swift here. That's Phil Swift.
Oh, okay.
Right there.
All right, Homan, what have you drawn?
I had a plane, and
All
then
right.
I dropped down to rescue them.
Well,
Okay.
since I'm Green Lantern, I think I turned into the team.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as funny as Drew's answer is, Ahoman's is a little bit more practical, I think.
Well,
So
okay.
1 point to Ahoman.
In your face, Drew.
The Hoover Dam is breaking. How do we stop it from breaking?
Okay.
All right, Drew, what do we have?
I might have to explain. That's Hoover Dam 1.
The camera.
That's Hoover Dam 1.
Okay.
A second Hoover Dam.
Not a bad choice. Not a bad choice. You're gonna need a lot of willpower to sustain that, but
I
let's
got
see
the
what
willpower.
Ahoman has.
Okay, so I know it looks weird, but at first I thought I would get like a huge balloon to get all the water. But then I thought about duct tape. Because like duct tape saves lives, right? So yeah, this is the duct tape and this is the balloon.
So you drew a balloon and duct tape.
Yeah.
Well, eventually that balloon's gonna burst. So I'm gonna go with Drew and his second Hoover Dam. So that's 1 each. There's a fighter jet and it just launched a nuke at the city. How do we stop it?
A what?
A nuke.
What's a nuke?
A nuclear bomb.
Oh, okay.
And 3, 2, 1, draw. All right, reveal. Drew, what do you have there?
So since Green Lantern's on the Justice League, you'd work with Superman, give him a giant tennis racket to bounce it back.
Okay. Okay, I like the imagination there. Ahoman?
So I drew a big bowl of like mustard where like it would stop the power. I don't know, it feels like it would stop it.
You think that mustard would stop a nuclear bomb?
Yeah, it should. They haven't tried it yet, but it would probably work.
Untested scenario.
I don't think either of these has been tested.
You can't tell me Drew won this time. This is not tested.
I don't think Superman with a tennis racket's been tested before.
I don't think either of them have been tested before.
It's a big tennis racket.
I don't think either of them would work either.
That's quitter talk.
Mustard tennis racket. I think the mustard would just like make it worse because you know mustard gas, and it would like spread it throughout the city too. Drew with the fly swatter, I guess.
It's not a fly. It's okay.
As we know, a certain member of the league can't fly. So how are we going to get Batman to the mission? Drew, what do you have?
So he'd put on a big board, right?
Okay.
Like a big big thing.
A big thing?
And then there'd be a bunch of logs under it, right?
Okay.
And you take the log from behind and put it in front.
That sounds like it would take a very long time.
Well, he's super fast. Green Lantern is.
Oh, Holman, what do you have?
Okay, so I came up with a hot air balloon.
Okay, I like that. I like
and this is Batman right here, if you can't tell. I'm very good at art, right?
I see.
Yeah.
All right, well, Drew's would take forever.
That's quitter talk.
So I'm going with a Holman for this round.
Yes.
And we're all tied up with 2-2. You two are fighting each other. Draw your weapons. What will you use to attack a Holman?
So I was thinking of all the cool things that would battle stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like a suit of armor that's like power armor or something.
Okay.
And he's got like well, it's me. I got a I have a Mega Man blaster.
Okay.
And I would give myself it's like a lightsaber, but like an axe.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice. So the Viking lightsaber, I like
Yeah,
that.
it's pretty
I like
epic.
that. And we got the Buster, we got power armor. Oh, Holman, how are you gonna fight that?
Okay, so I have an armored tank that shoots out like those things that armored tanks shoot out, like those big balls. And then it also shoots out arrows at the same time.
Okay, so you have a tank that shoots bow and arrows.
arrows and big balls.
I'm gonna give it to Uhoman.
Yes.
Respectable.
Oh my gosh! Finally! I knew it was gonna happen. The underdogs have the best story, let's be real here. Also, like, when they picked Uhoman, I'm gonna be real, I knew it was over. I knew it was over for them. Like, Uhoman is, not gonna lie, Krista, I love you, but Uhoman is the strongest person on this team, and I stand by that.
Well, Emma's team finally has a point. And we'll see you next time on the Justice League Games. Brought to you by Nerd Central, powered by KNWT.